Hello and happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, what a time to be an Xbox gamer. Actually, you know what? I could even take that as a broader conversation. What a time to be a gamer. There is literally so many great games that have launched in the last 24, 48 hours. You got Indiana Jones, which is on your screen now. We're going to get into the reviews. I'm going to get into some more of my playthrough. I'm 20 plus hours in. I'm only at the second biome, which of course is Giza. And look, at the end of the day, this game is massive, and I am so taking my time and enjoying every nook and cranny. Again, if Umbra might be joining us today, he's a bit still under the weather. I know that he wants to talk about Indiana Jones. We're going to see if we can get him in here in a little bit. But I meing, you have Path of Exile 2, which is coming out, and that is apparently getting a ridiculous amount of buzz. I know Pong Soul, that's all he's been talking about. And listen, it looks and plays a lot like Diablo, and specifically Diablo 4, which sounds like it might be a game for me and Mrs. Boom. I got to see how difficult it is, but that's something that we're into. Marvel Rivals, holy matrimony, 500,000 concurrent players. What the H? I haven't played it yet. I was supposed to download it, and I got so enveloped in doing the review for, of course, what you see on your screen. I haven't even downloaded it. I haven't been back to Call of Duty in 5 days, folks, and I'm tapping the vein. Holy crap, there's a new season. It's Christmas. Nuketown looks like Santa Claus's workshop with bullets. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited as a gamer. I am going to, as soon as the show is done, I'm going to start doing the taping for the unboxing of the collector's edition that Bethesda sent on over. It's right here. It's awesome. It looks like a piece of luggage, which is of course the whole point of it. It's freaking cool. So I'm going to do the unboxing, and hopefully I can get that done, and everything works perfectly, and I can get it put up on the channel so you can check it out. Shout out to King David. Yesterday, from about 6 to about 6:50, we sat down and we gave our AMA Ask Me Anything review of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I didn't think it was going to hit with a lot of people. So far, 1,200 views, which is pretty good. And we're still a small channel, and it is a review, and it's an untraditional review because, again, I could have done it where it's just me talking and the game playing, but I kind of wanted to bounce off somebody, and I do like the Ask Me Anything format. Hopefully you did as well. If you missed it, it's up on the channel in the videos section. But Fuzzy Belvedere, welcome back, brother. Now look, folks, Fuzzy has not had a chance to play Indiana Jones, and don't boo this man, please, because all he wants to do in his life right now is play Stalker 2, and there's nothing wrong with it. And again, I forgot to even mention that Stalker 2, another massive hit. But how you feeling, brother? Welcome back.
Oh, I'm feeling great. Glad to be here with you today, and man, I'm going to start getting that FOMO feel for Indiana Jones. I definitely want to tackle it at some point this weekend, but Stalker 2 just has me locked in right now. So, man, this is a great problem to have as a gamer. I still want to dive into Flight Sim 2024. Only spent about an hour or two in it, so yeah. Trying to fit in games into your daily life. it's a good problem to
during
have.
This time, because it's busy. You know, Christmas is a couple of weeks away. The New Year's a couple of weeks away. People are coming in, family, friends, getting the house, getting your finances all set up so you can start 2025 on the right foot. Trust me, I know.
But man, it looks like it's an awesome game. Great reviews coming in. There's one or two outliers that I'm pretty sure we'll touch on at some point. But man, it's just a great time to be a gamer and an Xbox gamer or Game Pass subscriber. Yeah, this is we're eating good right now. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you know what? Shout out to Xboxer Mike in the chat. He basically talked about pure Xbox giving Indiana Jones a bad score, and unfortunately, this has become the running trend with them. What? Why even have a website called Pure Xbox if every game that comes out you hate? It is bonkers to me. So
Mhm.
I bring that up again. This is not a topic. It's just because Xbox or Mike made a mention of it, and I had to talk about it. Let me see who posted this. So Mr. Kima, who's sometimes in the chat, folks. Again, if you think that when I say Xbox X that I'm being facetious or I'm being overly sensitive, listen, folks, I'm not sensitive about people's scores. Paris Lilly, who I really like. Paris and I are cool, man. I met him in real life. We got to hang out for a bit. He's a really cool dude. He didn't care for Indiana Jones. He gave it a 7 out of 10, a 70 out of 100. I disagree 1,000%, but that is his opinion. He's not doing it for likes, clicks, or engagement. At least I don't think so. Not Paris Lilly. But Mr. Keemer tweeted, he said, "This is why I unfollowed Pure Xbox and stopped reading and sharing their articles. I'm not going to say the curse word that he says. Basically, he says they stepped in poo for clicks, and he's not wrong. So just for giggles, right? Let's just look at the 6 things that he has listed here. Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl, they gave a 40.
Ugh.
A 40. Okay, all right.
I know it has bugs, but it ain't 40 level.
It's not a 40.
Nah.
Indiana Jones gets a 60. Starfield gets a 50. Senua's
Ugh.
Saga gets a 70. Minecraft Legends gets a 70. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare gets a 60. Like, are we serious? Like, I mean, at some point, why even have the site? Why even bother at this point? So again, if you
The pure
follow them,
Xbox hate.
it's weird. I understand. Listen, folks, no one understands business more than I do when it comes to stuff like this. I understand that for some people, paying the rent. I'm fortunate. I'm retired. Now again, that wasn't a gift. I had to earn that. You all know that. But unfortunately, some people are in this business, and they're in this business because they want to make money, and that is the wrong way to enter this business. And unfortunately, places like Pure Xbox, which is now pure garbage, use hate rhetoric, console war rhetoric, and falsities in the form of reviews just to get people pissed off to click. So don't click on them. Pay them. I have them blocked. I've had them blocked for a while because I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch any of that crap anyway. But look, we're going to get into Indiana Jones. There's a lot to get into. I want to cover the reviews. I want to give you some more of my thoughts and my opinions. I want to hear what Fuzzy has to say about his thoughts, his opinions on the game, what he's seen so far, his thoughts of the reviews. I do want to open up now, folks. Look, someone's going to clip me on this, and I don't care. Clip me all you want. It's engagement, so it's fine. But this is what I consider a ridiculous and massive grain of salt. So please, this is not a confirmation. This is simply a grain of salt rumor. We've talked about this before, Fuzzy. You and I specifically have talked about this. And I have reached out to Ecstasies this morning trying to get some confirmation on what we're about to cover. Now, again, folks, let me just reiterate, it is a grain of salt. It is someone from Spain who apparently is a PlayStation fan, basically tweeted this morning that Marvel's Wolverine, which is being made by Insomniac Games, is supposed to launch in holiday of 2025. Now, we have heard many times this year before, and I kind of pushed back on it because of the source code getting out there with the Insomniac leaks from last year. I said there's just no way that they can do it. And we did hear a couple of months ago that, yeah, they're targeting 2025, holiday 2025 for Wolverine. And that's going to be great for PlayStation. If they can get that out, that's going to be a big one for them. But that's not where this rumor ends, ladies and gentlemen. Now, look, again, for the third time, take it with a grain of salt. There is no confirmation. It is just a talking piece because it's starting to make the rounds. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because I woke up to multiple DMs specifically talking about this at 6 a.m. this morning. And I said, you know what? Let's just have a conversation and do a episode of what if this actually happens. Now, the second half of the tweet says that Marvel is pushing Sony in the direction of having to release Wolverine on Xbox Series consoles 6 months after release. Now, again, it's unconfirmed rumor, but it's worthy of a conversation because why? Well, Fuzzy, a couple of years ago, MLB The Show was the baseball game on PlayStation. And what did they do? Well, they sold about 2 million, 2.3, 2.5 million copies every year on a consistent basis. Baseball, I don't play it. I mean, I like baseball, but I just don't have the time or the patience to play a baseball game. I haven't played one in years, and it's fine. I'm okay with that. But what wound up happening, Fuzzy, is MLB The Show looked and said, well, wait a second. We're not getting paid as much as we should be getting paid because you don't have it here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
And, well, what did they tell them? Either you start developing for these other platforms or we're going to pull the license. Now, I don't know if that is the scenario that we're about to, dive into, Fuzzy, but it makes sense. It makes sense because, look, Spider-Man 2 is a perfect example of it selling okay, but not selling in astronomical forms. And Spider-Man 2, I know there's a lot of people that are going to push back on me, and because I really liked Spider-Man 2. I didn't beat it. I just ran out of time, but I really liked it. I loved the story. I loved the relationships that he had with his friends. I loved how they changed the origin of Venom. I thought that was wild. And again, Insomniac, that they're telling their tale. That's why I like Insomniac.
Yeah.
But this makes sense. It makes sense. I know it's a rumor. I know it's unconfirmed, but it makes sense because what happens when you have an IP as big as Wolverine only on one platform? Now, granted, this is not going to be on PlayStation 4. This is going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive. How many PlayStation gamers are going to buy Wolverine? I'd say at least 5 million. I think that this is a easy 3 million sellers in the first month. It's Wolverine, right? But if it's Wolverine like we saw, well, that didn't get a lot of good reception because it was very much Spider-Man with Wolverine. And a lot of people didn't like that. Now, I'll dig that. I'm not going to front. I will definitely play that game. But I'm wondering, Fuzzy, is if there's any validity to what we're talking about. What are your thoughts on this, man?
It is a possibility. And you have to understand when you're paying for a license through a company, you're at their beck and call to some extent. Depending on what the price is, the price might go up if you're looking to have it as an exclusivity deal to the point where they may ask for extra upfront money. And given how Xbox is doing right now with Indiana Jones, maybe they kind of press the issue, seeing as with Spider-Man 2, they didn't do as many bundles sales as they did with the first Spider-Man, or even with Miles Morales for that matter. But I'm pretty sure Marvel's probably looking at, well, if you're tapping out at around like 10 mil, and we're expecting to see 20 mil sales like you did with the first Spider-Man and stuff like that, then you probably need to put it in a couple of different places, whether it be PC or Xbox. And I know it would be one of those begrudging things for Sony to even consider putting something on Xbox, but considering how well MLB is doing on Xbox, there were a couple of instances where there were more players on Xbox playing MLB The Show, and even more sales at that point for MLB The Show on Xbox than there were on PlayStation. That maybe some of these license holders are looking at like the bigger picture and say, hey, yeah, you can do a 6-month exclusive, much like what Xbox is doing with Indiana Jones. But after that, if you hadn't sold 20 mil, yeah, you're going to have to make sure you start porting that over to get us the other half of the expected, outcome we're looking for. I'm not holding my breath on it because I know how petty Sony can be, but I do think as time moves on, you're going to see a lot of these licensed IP holders start pushing the issue to try to get as big of a bag up front as they can, or make sure you're delivering on the residual after sale type of deal or after publication, so that way they know that they're getting something that's worth their while. Because otherwise, they could just as soon hire somebody to make a multi-plat, like, well, maybe even an Activision like they did in the past, and even though that's a publishing house or a publishing arm of with Microsoft right now, Microsoft seems to be willing to do that multi-plat thing. So for something along those lines, hey, they could just as easily start going to them for licensing deals, just so they know that they get more than 10 or 12 million units sold in like a year or two type of thing. So we'll see. But like I said, I think it's a possibility, but I think we see something else come to Xbox prior to that. I know I'm going on a long shot here.
No. I mean, listen, look, you have to understand what Fuzzy, what you're talking about is, yes. Is it highly unlikely that happens? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I absolutely think that it's preposterous, but we have to understand that leadership has been changed in big ways at Sony. And the one that's making the decisions is the money man. He doesn't care about your feelings. He doesn't care about my feelings. He certainly doesn't care about console war rhetoric. He's in it to make money for his investors and himself.
Yeah.
And the more bonuses that he can, more yen, because we're talking Japan, that he can put in his bank account, the better it is for him. And a situation like this, again, highly unlikely, but there could be, and I see the angle you're taking, some test waters here. I've said this for the last couple of years. People have clipped me. People have shunned me. They've made fun of me. It's fine, folks. I'm 54. I sleep just fine at night. I still think, in my heart of hearts, in the era of gaming that we're in now, not from 5 years ago, Fuzzy, not from 10 years ago, not from 25 years ago, where we are in 2024, the marketplace is changing. And you just saw that Sean Layden interview where he basically said the console war is over. It's about content. It is about IP. And that's why these companies are starting to snatch up IP left, right, and center. It's why Sony wants to get Kadokawa, and why? Well, the anime for sure, but they definitely would love to have the Soul series under the banner of PlayStation Studios. That'd be a massive W for them. Yeah. But Spider-Man and Miles Morales for $70 on Xbox from Insomniac, who has worked on Xboxes before, i.e. Sunset Overdrive, could really make a lot of money, because there's a lot of us, including me. I'd buy it. I guarantee you they'd sell 10 million copies of that.
Yeah.
And it's not port begging. That's like, well, I have the games, but if I had a chance to play them again on the Xbox, I'd do it. I'd spend the $70. And I don't think I'm the only one, but please continue.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat with you, because I wound up buying Deathloop on both platforms, Ghostwire Tokyo on both platforms.
Yep.
What is the other one? Crap. Now I'm having a brain for it, but Hellblade I bought on both platforms. Actually, I bought it on 3 platforms.
I know what you're talking about. The one that you sneak around.
Well, there's the what do you call it? The
Prey.
Embark Studios or something
Yeah.
that did Kina, Bridge of Spirits. I bought on multiple platforms. There's just so many that, like, I think there is enough money on the table that somebody like Hiroki Totoki is like, yeah, let's see what we get out of it. And I'm pretty sure, even though there's some people that'll probably, you know, spitting venom inside the walls of like Sony, was it San Diego? I'm pretty sure Hiroki is looking at the numbers for MLB and is like, hey, this actually worked.
Money.
And
Yeah.
it you know, even with like Death Stranding, even though that's a separate case, that's not a first party, but it was an IP that they had the rights to. Whether they, you know, willingly sold that back to Kojima, or if it was just a matter of maybe that was part of the bargaining to get the newer game that they're working on, that's going to be a part movie, part like spy type of game or espionage type game. I think IP holders now see that people don't just stick to one ecosystem. They see that they're playing games on their phone. They see that they're playing games on a tablet. They see that they're playing games on PC or a console or a portable or a handheld device, whether it's Nintendo branded or some sort of PC, you know, spin-off kind of thing. I think there's enough money on the table that at some point Sony is going to, you know, want to try stuff on Xbox, considering I don't know how well the Lego you know, Horizon is doing on Switch. I know it didn't do very well on PC, but then again, it's not your typical thing that would appeal to PC players. Like the actual, you know, frontlining game is what appealed to PC players more so.
Yeah.
But putting something like you know, Spider-Man or Wolverine on an Xbox, I think there's enough there that you, like you said, you're going to sell probably 5 million copies, 10 million copies within a short period of time. You put it in Game Pass, you get the big bag from Microsoft. And even if it's only in there for 3 months, I think you would still turn enough sales from the people that tried to finish it in 3 months and didn't, and then wind up buying it for, you know, $30 or $50 or whatever the case may be with the, you know, Game Pass discount. That's money that 70% of it's going into Sony's pocket, which they can reinvest right back into Insomniac or other ventures for their first party studios. I mean, considering Call of Duty is not their piggy bank anymore, it's definitely something for Sony to consider. But no, I foresee Forspoken possibly coming sooner rather than later. Definitely, even though I know it's still third party, the Final Fantasy 16 being one that we see on Xbox prior to this, but I almost, I won't say I guarantee, but I'm almost betting on whatever Ben Studios, especially now that it's games as a service, that winds up being an everywhere day and date. But we'll see what it is. No idea what it is, other than it was changed from being a single player to a games as a service, or at least that's the rumor. But I got a feeling, because that studio is like 1 foot in the grave kind of thing, as far as Sony is concerned. I could see that being the test mule where this is your last shot. You better take it, and it better do well everywhere to get our money's worth. Otherwise, you wind up being like Firewalk, and we all know what happened to them. So we'll see.
Again, this is the Wolverine rumor is exactly that. It is, take it with a grain of salt. A person on X put it out there. Like I said, I got a couple of DMs asking me about it. Some people telling me about it. Some people sending me the tweet. It's just another person. It's probably BS. But again, it's just a conversation that we're having because so many people are talking about it, and because of the changing landscape of gaming. And again, this comes off of the heels of the Sean Layden interview that he did that was really, really detailed. Like, he, again, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he said personally, and I like Sean Layden a lot. Like, he's one of my favorite PlayStation leaders. I think he got the real short end of the stick by Jim Ryan and company. And well, you know, as the Lady Luck would have it, Jim Ryan got the door as well. So, you know, Karma, ladies and gentlemen, hashtag karma. But look, it's Sony is going, whatever Sony is going to do for multi-platform, it is going to be heels in sand. It is not going to be front facing and large steps like Xbox is trying to do. They always drag their heels because they don't want to piss off their fan base and they want to stay very traditional. Again, traditional PlayStation is keep our games here and force you to buy a console. That has been their MO for years. I'd even say decades. And it has been very successful for them. Why? Well, right now, I'm sure they're closer to 70 million PlayStation 5s. They had 118 million PS4s. They just announced that they have crossed over 160 million PlayStation 2s. So they're in the business of selling you a console. And I hate to use the word force. If you're a gamer like me and you can afford it, remember, it comes down to what you can afford. You're going to own everything so you can play everything. Now, granted, I don't own, well, I have a PC, but it's not good enough to play games. And that's because that's a personal choice. So if it's on console, I'll play it. If it doesn't come to console, it'll get there eventually. And that's exactly how I live. But the way that this industry is changing, the way that Sean Layden's talking about the unrealistic belief and goals of AAA development and where that's going to go in the future, these kind of moves are going to happen. I think that there is a test bed here for Sony to release a Spider-Man 2018, and even if it's not just a double pack, let's say for instance it's just Spider-Man, and they say, you know what, we're gonna give it the old college effort. Let's see what happens. What if Spider-Man again? This is a giant what if, right? If you're a fan of Marvel, you know what I'm talking about. What if Spider-Man 2018 does next year launch on Xbox? No Game Pass. You had to go out and buy the game. What if it sells? What if that happens and it sells 5 million copies? That game right now is literally sitting in code, doing nothing, making no money. How many people in 2024 are going out to buy Spider-Man 2018? Now, you might have a few, sure, but it's not moving. It's just sitting on a shelf, not literally, but you know what I mean. It's sitting on code. It's not doing anything. They're in to make money. They have to figure out how to recur $400 million Concord, right? They have to figure that out. This is how you do that. And again, getting back to old guard, is there anyone left at PlayStation that's considered quote unquote old guard outside of Herman Holtz, which King David believes is coming to an end in 2026? And I think I agree with him. That's what happens. They've moved everyone on out. The people that used to be like, you know what, if it's on PlayStation, it stays in house. I don't care. Those people are gone, man. I'm just saying, folks. It's a rumor, but please, you want to add something else, Fuzzy, before we move on to the Indiana Jones topic?
Seeing Yohei Yoshida leave, it's like, man, wherever he goes, like he was the go-to for indie games. Like, before that, he was, in the thick of things as far as the console warring and how you share a game and stuff. But he's always been a fixture over at PlayStation. And to see him go, I wonder if this is a sign that they're, less focused on indie games. Like, I'm still waiting to see when Baby Steps lands on PlayStation. But no, in all seriousness, that he could actually go and work for somebody like Devolver or start his own thing that's like a go-to for indie games in general. Yeah. And I
think probably made a lot of friends in the indie scene. Sure.
Yeah. So he's even though he's retiring from PlayStation, I don't think he's completely stepping away from the game. Much like Larry Herb, he found something else with working with other developers and things along those lines. And there's quite a few that have left Microsoft or even PlayStation for that matter, or even Nintendo, and have still gotten into gaming and other ventures and things that they want to try. So curious to see what I I keep on wanting to call him Mike Quick, but it's Mikey Barr. See what he's going to try and do. Right now, I don't think he's doing anything dev related specifically, but I'm pretty sure he's licking his chops to do something in gaming again, and enjoying the fact that now PoE 2 is in the works. So we expect to see some slander against Diablo, even though he's a big Diablo fan. But we'll see how this industry shakes out with a lot of people moving around, but you can't leave money on the table. And Hiroki Totoki is that type of guy that's like, yeah, we're going to try this. And if it makes some people mad, but we make twice as much money, so be it.
Yeah. Well, real quick, John Miranda in the chat. Now, first of all, John, this is a giant what if. He says, you're delusional if you think Sony will release games on Xbox. Am I? Because Switch has a first-party game in the form of Lego Horizon. Now, I would imagine, I don't have any numbers in front of me. I can't find them. Sony's not talking. I guarantee you more people on Switch bought that game than PlayStation players. Guarantee it. I don't want to say it's 2-1, but I guarantee you they bought it more because it's more of a family-friendly console. That is obviously, it's a Lego game. I freaking love the Lego games. I want to get it. It wasn't on sale, so I'm going to wait. But I'm definitely picking it up for the Switch. I mean, again, we started the whole conversation with this is a giant what if. And again, I understand, John, that you might be in your feels about PlayStation potentially doing what Xbox is doing, and that may not happen in 2024, 2025. It is going to happen eventually because the biggest problem with PlayStation is that their own players don't buy the games. They just don't. Look at what happened with Astrobot. It is in my top 5 of 2024, one of my favorite platformers in years. I'm one freaking trophy away from the platinum. I got 45 hours, and I'm freaking loving it. But I also love platformers. I don't care that it's a PlayStation game. Hell, I loved what they did with it. It was a love letter to PlayStation fans, and I'm a PlayStation fan. I'm just not. It's just my third box. It's Xbox, Switch, and for me, it's PlayStation, and it's only for exclusives, and that's fine. But if you think that they're going to continue games only here, that's not going to last much longer. Fitness Mad in the chat says Bloodborne remaster, great point, would be the easiest way to recoup or to get back that 400 million. But Sony hates money. I memean, they trolled everybody with that. Like I own Bloodborne. I actually have the disc. I'm terrible at it. Like it's just not for me. But I'm going to be honest with you. If they would have released a PS5 version, I probably would have bought it and then gave it the old college effort thanks to Elden Ring. I'm like, you know what? If I can play through Elden Ring and that thing is hard as freaking hell, I could probably play through this. But look, I don't want to hold up anybody, but we do have Infinite Umbra. What's going on, dude? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling under the weather a little bit.
You definitely sound sick. You definitely don't sound your normal pep and step, even though you work nights, so in the morning you're still dragging your heels. But thank you so much for popping in here, man.
Yeah, man, it's good to be here with you fellas. The weather outside is frightful.
Indeed, yes, yeah. Wait, lake effect snow for Chi-Town. You guys had what 19 feet of snow?
No snow, unfortunately. Nothing crazy for snow. It's just really cold. Right now we are at 23 degrees, but it feels like 12 degrees outside.
Yeah, here in New York we are at 20, and I think it feels like 17 with the wind chill. Today's cold. It's definitely cold today.
Yeah, we typically feel similar weather patterns with Chicago.
Yeah, we're close. Chicago, New York. It's two shakes of a stick away. But listen, you came at the perfect time because we were talking about a rumor that, of course, is a giant grain of salt rumor. But we're going to get into Indiana Jones, and I've been busting at the seams for days because I've had the game for a week. And all I want to do is talk about it. And now the chains have been broken because I can tell you everything. No spoilers, folks. I just want to be able to give you my spiel, if you will. But before we get into it, I do want to just thank a couple of people for the generosity. Once again, Aris_EMS has done the incredible and gifted $10 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for the support, as always, Aris. We definitely appreciate that here. Smuzz246. Smuzz, how you doing, brother? Happy holidays to you and the fam. He says this after dropping a very generous $5 super chat. Wolverine cross-platform makes sense. Look at all the Sony partners that have stepped back from making PlayStation exclusive games in the last year. I mean, again, rumor, grain of salt, dump truck worth of salt. But again, the industry is changing. I don't see them doing it with Wolverine personally. I do see the Spider-Man test case, to be honest. But if Marvel does get involved and be like, hey, they pull an MLB The Show situation, they're going to have to release it on multiple platforms. They'll get, again, the rumor is 6 months. Is it true? Well, I suppose. Again, I'm waiting for Ecstasies, who is not only a good friend of mine, but the dude knows his stuff, and he has massive connections. I haven't heard back from him. If I hear back from him during the show, I'll let you know. Highlander 001, hey, brother, I hope that tank is tuned up and you're running over cars in the neighborhood. Appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you for becoming a member once again. And J-Mac, our fellow graybeard, OG of the OGs, who's been a channel member for 37 months, says this: it's awesome to see in Xbox first-party games do so well. Looking forward to the numbers that come out of this title. Hashtag graybeards in the building, Xbox World Order. Indeed, kind sir. So, look, Indiana Jones has come out. I got to give a shout out to Okami13 _ tremendous person on X, great community member, consistently puts out great information, has inside sources, sure, but he is consistently putting out good pieces of information on a regular basis, closing in on 44,000 subscribers, followers, which is pretty good. Well, he put a list together, which is we're just gonna go over real quick. Now, there's some things that are on this list, and there's some things that are not on this list. For instance, I saw John Linnerman and that crew over there. They gave it a 5 out of 5. They very much enjoyed it. In fact, I'll read you exactly what John Linneman had to say. He says, I decided to make another HDR video, this time covering Indiana Jones and the Xbox 360, the Great Circle. He's being funny. This is the best game Microsoft has published this entire generation, hands down, an absolute masterpiece, as I noted earlier, the successor to Riddick. And what he's talking about, and I got a chance to meet with some of the developers, they were ex-Starbreeze. These developers brought Riddick during the old Xbox One days, and that was a phenomenal game way back then. And some of that team from Starbreeze is a part of Machine Games. And if you play the game, if you played both, you're going to feel instantly that they do have the DNA of like Riddick. And that game was phenomenal. But Okami had put out a list, so I'm going to go over the list. VGC, the review was done by Andy Robinson. They gave it a perfect score, 5 out of 5 stars out of 5 stars. And well, here is the listing. Games Radar gives it a 10 out of 10. ZTGD gives it a 9.5 out of 10. GameSpot, 9 out of 10. IGN, shocker, 9 out of 10. Game Reactor, 9 out of 10. Inverse, 9 out of 10. Xbox Era, 9 out of 10. Windows Central, 9 out of 10. Gaming Bible gave it a 9. But who though? I never even heard of them. They gave it an 8. Digital Trends, 8. Hardcore Gamer, 8. Tech Radar gave it an 8. Noisy Pixel, 7. Oh, here it is. Eurogamer, 5 out of 5. VGC, 5 out of 5. Currently, it is sitting at an 87 Metacritic. Fuzzy, let's talk scores, because I've said this up until I even said it during the sit down with King David yesterday. My concern for the review of this game wasn't the Xbox tax. I mean, that's always going to be a part of the conversation. It's unfortunate, but it is. Perfect example is pure Xbox, or should I say pure garbage. They're a prime example of using hate rhetoric and clickbaitery and hashtag Xbox tax to get you to click on their stuff by being egregious with their reviews. My concern, Fuzzy, was for the under 30 crowd. And I've said this multiple times. I have a personal connection with Indiana Jones dating back to my pop when we went to see it when I was 12. He took me to see it when I was 12 years old. And, you know, obviously that's going to be with me forever. I've watched all the films with him. We loved them all. And that's the connection. So I appreciate Harrison Ford. I appreciate the 30s and 40s-esque era of Indiana Jones. But that's me. My concern was, is the under 30 crowd going to appreciate the comedy, the one-liners? Because I laugh at them all. Like when Mrs. Boom was like on her PC and she's doing like her work and stuff, and someone says something, like he'll beat up somebody and he'll say one of his, you know, very famous Indiana Jones quips. And I laugh. I'm laughing. And she's like, what was so funny? Because it bounces off of her. But I get it because I'm a fan of Indiana Jones. That was my concern. Apparently that concern was for nothing, because people are playing the game. Yes, some people wish the combat was better. I have learned to use it really well. And the fights I get into, I am whooping people's ass. And that's because I took the time to level up. I can grab, I can hold on longer, I can punch, longer. It's again, it's an RPG somewhat.
Yeah.
So you have to level up some things to be a better fighter. I've done it. But what are your thoughts on the overall ambience of scoring for Indiana Jones? I'm actually quite and pleasantly surprised.
I kind of figured, and I joked about the whole Xbox tax thing with this. I was like, I think it will probably or should land somewhere in like the 89 range, maybe even crack the 90s. But I think because of it being released now on Xbox and PC only, Xbox tax is like a -5 to some extent. So it'll probably land somewhere between 83 and 84, I think. But then, 6 months later, when it lands on PlayStation 5, miraculously, the DualSense will bounce back, at least another 5 points. So it'll reach the high 80s, low 90s. But it's good to see, with the exception of like one or two shops that are purposely scoring everything low, I guess, or at least have a trend of scoring everything low. I'm glad to see a lot of shops are giving some positive reviews on it. And I think some of it is that nostalgia aspect, even though some of these reviewers may not be in our same age group and stuff, but they've probably watched the movies at some point. So there's some of that to kind of lean on. And I guess you could say, direct that we've seen, you could tell that Machine Games, they are true fans of Indiana Jones, and they use the resource material at nauseum to some extent, to the point where this, at least everything we've seen, it feels like it could have slotted in as a movie within the series. So it's good to see that they're getting 8s and 9s. I'm hoping this trend continues. I'm kind of bummed, and I said this even before they made the announcement for like Game of the Year nominations and things. It's almost like I know that there was a playable version of this out in time for reviewers. It's just that it doesn't make the cut because it's going to release to the public only days before the show, but there was still that playable demo. And I'm pretty sure if this was a PlayStation exclusive, they would have found a way to change the rules once again to get this in the nominations. But yeah, for the most part, I'm just glad to see that people are enjoying it. And I'm really looking forward to diving in this weekend. Gotta set Stalker 2 down for a little bit, but hey, there's guns in this, and there isn't as much melee combat in Stalker 2, but I've always liked the fact that this melee combat, at least compared to things like Cyberpunk and a lot of other games where you do melee combat, like the only one that but then again, that was third person, and third person is kind of easy with things like Mad Max and Batman and stuff. But for first person, it's always a tough one. So I'm curious to see how this goes. And like you said, leveling up that melee combat. Yeah, that's what I'll probably wind up doing. Be like a brawler to some extent. Forget the whip, forget the gun, just sneak up, punch him in the head, and see if that works. But yeah, we'll we'll see how it lands. But I'm expecting mid 80s to high 80s, maybe even higher when it finally lands on PlayStation. But that's just how reviews seem to lean these days. Like Hi-Fi Rush miraculously scored higher because of either shadows or maybe the DualSense, pushed it a few notches over what the original score was. But looking forward to it either way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, I can't wait to get your thoughts and your theories on it. Listen, folks, apologies for the flickering. That's not the game. That's actually the way I recorded it. I used a buffer to make it more light so you can see. And I did it literally right before the show. So I'm gonna wind up just pulling the footage and put in something else for now because it is a bit annoying that it keeps flickering like that. Again, that's not the game. That's the stupid program that I used to record it. So let me just throw some different footage up there. I'm sorry, folks, if you're gonna hate me, but it's Black Ops. I mean, I just can't stop playing it. So yeah, I'm gonna add some Black Ops here. Give me a second. All right, so Umbra, I'm glad that you're here, and the reason why I'm glad that you're here because obviously we're good buddies and we're brothers, but you, my friend, play games very similar to me. We are open world fanatics, and we are like, we chase after the shiny things looking all over there. Oh, look at that. There's something shiny. I'm going to go over there. But the mission's over here. It's fine. I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm going over here. And like, for instance, these particular levels, and I don't know how far you're into it, are huge. And each scenario that you come across, there are different paths that you can take. You can go, listen, do the guns blazing if you want. You're just going to get killed. I haven't fired a round in 20 plus hours. I just haven't. I don't want to. I want to see if I can beat the game without shooting anyone. And again, for no reason other than, Indiana Jones he does shoot people, sure, but this isn't Castle Wolfenstein. So I want to play it like Indiana Jones. The thing about this game that screams to me, I believe is going to scream to you, and that is adventure. That is being rewarded for looking around each corner. Someone asked that in a question yesterday when me and King David did the AMA. And yeah, literally, the more that you look around the corner, the more that you're going to be able to find new things. Umbra, have you had a chance to play it as of yet, sir?
I unfortunately have not. I want to play it, but I don't want to pay $100 for it. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, especially when it's coming to Game Pass. Yeah. Now you've heard me already complain about paying $70, so it's like, listen, I want to whip some Nazis, but not that dang bad right now. If anybody want to donate to the cause, feel free. But right now, brother, we'll wait until the 9th. But yeah, man, I really do want to play it because I feel like I'm getting that FOMO right now. But
you could buy the $30 upgrade.
I didn't see it available yet.
Oh available? Yeah, it's been available for weeks.
You know what? I've been looking on PC. That's probably the problem.
Maybe.
Damn you, PC. Yeah, so I'm gonna look for that then and see if I can just get it and play it today. Then I didn't know if it was available because I didn't see it available, and I looked too. I went on Xbox.com and everything. Okay, that's on me. Sorry, folks.
No. I mean, listen, we didn't even expect you to be here. So again, we just threw it up in the air. So, but you know what? Even though you haven't played it, you've got a chance to watch a lot of videos, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Let's focus in on the reviews because, again, when it comes to Xbox and their reviews, a perfect example of that is Senua. Senua Hellblade 2 is it's a mastercraft level game. Now, I know there are going to be people like, well, Boom, it's just a walking simulator. You know what's interesting about that thought and theory? And I saw it with the reviews. The same people that said it's a walking simulator in some reviews said that when they set down the controller on their PS4s, they were whimpering, right? And of course, it comes out for the Xbox as an exclusive. It's better leaps and bounds and everything. Sound, graphics, you name it. The combat is better. The story is better. Everything has been improved. And they give it half the score I actually saw people be like, well, it's about a 6 to me. Wait a second. Wait, you gave it a 9.5 on the PS4 for Hellblade 1, and they've done everything that everyone asked for was to get better. It literally in every aspect, and it's a 6. I don't know. I'm going to call BS here. So when it comes to something like Indiana Jones, there are a lot of younger folks that don't have, they know who Nathan Drake is. They know who Tomb Raider, Lara Croft is. They don't know who Indiana Jones is. They think Lara Croft started the whole thing.
I mean, I'll give them at least some credit, going to her first before they go to Drake. I'll give them that.
Hopefully.
But yeah, Indiana's the big dog on the But and Harrison Ford is my favorite actor. So this is I love those movies. I love him as an actor. This is just for me right here. So I can't wait to jump into it, especially now that I know I can actually get it for $30. But yeah, man. I'm seeing these reviews, and I've tried to avoid watching any like gameplay reviews, like for instance Randall Thor's. I watched a bit of his, but then he started to sound a little spoilery story wise, and I was like, okay. I had to check out of my Chicago brother, and I know Colt had like an hour-long discussion the other day as well. I just didn't tune in because I don't want to be spoiled. It's like a 20-hour adventure from my understanding, 20 maybe 30 hour. I don't want anything spoiled to me. And
it may be a little bit longer than that. Again, if you just beeline it, you could probably beat it in around 25 or 30 hours.
Okay.
I spent 20 hours at the Vatican in Rome.
You had a lot of sins to get rid of, I see.
And you know what's crazy? I'm really angry at myself. I beat the level, and I knew that I knew I should have turned back. Because I knew that I was getting into like story content, and I had 3 missions that I found, the side missions, and I'm like, man, this story's really getting good. Should I just turn around and work on the other things? Nah, you know what? I could probably go back. And I got to a certain point where they're like, I fly out of the country, and I'm like, God damn it! I freaking 3 missions.
Oh wow! So, but did you missed like collectibles or something like that when you did that?
I think what I probably missed is being able to level up. With the adventure points, like the more missions you do, like if a particular mission, like I had to do one for this nun that was looking for a particular book from a priest from centuries ago. And when you beat it, you got like 250 adventure points. And sometimes some of the perks that you unlock, they're 250. So you do one mission and you're unlocking a perk, which is awesome. I try to save up all of them. I wait till I have over 1,000 of the perk points, the adventure points, to then start, because you get books that you find, and the more books you find, you read the books, and you level up your character in regards to his stamina, how many fruit you can carry, how many bread you can carry, how many bandages you can carry to regain your health, your fisticuffing, your whip use, your stamina. It's bonkers how much stuff you can upgrade here.
Would you have played so much? How does the fighting with the whip feel? Like,
it's good, man. It's good. The whip is good for, like, for instance, there are dogs in the game. And obviously,
I get to whip some dog ass.
You get to whip some ass because when you whip them, you don't hurt them, you scare them, and they go running. So you're not shooting dog. I suppose you could shoot the dog. I guess I haven't tried to shoot the dog. I wouldn't shoot a dog.
I know what I'm doing. Do all dogs go to heaven? We're about to find out.
We're about to find out. Yeah, indeed.
Let me stop. When somebody calls, I don't know, somebody on me. Anyway, I just want to know how the whip feels and everything like that. I'm seeing such praise. You say they compare it to Riddick. That's a super compliment right there, because I love that game, man. I love that game. So that right there is a super compliment, hearing that. And I guess I shouldn't have doubted Machine Games. I was having a full discussion with a bunch of fellas the other day, and we came to ask eventually what would our score, what do we believe it would score. And I was a bit skeptical because, I felt a little bit of the Xbox tax was going to be applied. And I think I said an 80, if I'm not mistaken. I figured Mike Vick Simulator. I figured an 80 But luckily, it turned out to be even better. And I guess I should never have doubted Machine Games. I mean, they make great games, right? So this probably should have been a foregone conclusion to understand that it would probably be in the mid 80s and such or higher. So, but I am interested in really jumping into it. Excuse me, and I'm going to do so after I get off this show with you fellas. So, yeah, definitely. It was something. Oh yeah, I saw a few people reviews, and I saw, like, for instance, Ryan McCaffrey, and he said he said it's the best Xbox exclusive, I think he said, in a long time.
Yeah, I think he said in a decade, if I'm not mistaken. Which is, again, listen, I look. Ryan is going to be Ryan, but I am happy to know that he enjoyed the game.
Yeah,
Most of his stuff I don't agree with, and again, if it's anti-Xbox, it is what it is. His opinion. Just like I said in the beginning, like Paris Lily, him and Danny, I got to watch their review because they posted it. But I know that him and Greg Miller gave it a 7. Now, do I agree with that? No. Are they monsters? 100% not. That's their opinion. They're entitled to it. Do I agree with it? No, absolutely not. And I'd love to be able to sit down with Greg Miller and Paris and be like, hey, why? Why did you guys give it a 7? Let's get into the weeds. I'm never going to be able to do that. And that's okay. My review in progress right now is a 9. But it's not my end score because I played, you know how we play the games. I'm not rushing through this game to slap a score on. I just refuse to do that.
Yeah, that's me. And that's why you already know how we play those types of games. So that right there hits home for me. If I get to adventure around and scrounge around and find things, that's definitely going to happen. I can tell you that right now. I'm just like, everything I'm hearing sounds really positive. Even hearing, of course, how great the voice acting is for Indiana. Yeah, like I've heard he sounds just like him and everything. So I really can't wait to experience all of that. What was I going to say? Also, I read a few of the reviews from other, accredited sites. So, like, for instance, Games Radar, they said it says the best adventure indie has embarked on in over 30 years. So, like, this is not a simple sentiment being shared by one person. A lot of people are feeling this. I will tell you, and I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this. I mean, Greg is a wild card. He can go either way, and he
like, for instance, and who would have thought that Greg Miller would have been pouring over himself for a Starfield?
Yeah, and he loves Starfield.
He loves freaking Starfield.
He loved it. So to see him with a 6.5 for this, it's like, wait a minute, what happened? I don't think he's being unfair, and the games just don't land for everybody the same way. But I will say I am very surprised that Paris landed at a 7. Because Paris, I think I tend to skew on the side of grading on a curve, I think. So I tend to give a more favorable score probably than it should be, maybe about a point or so. Danny, for instance, will skew the other way. Danny,
right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little surprised that it landed for a 7 with Paris. So that did worry me a bit. I'm like, oh, only a 7 for him, I guess he didn't want any official merchandise. No, let me stop. I'm messing, Paris. I know you're listening. I'm playing.
Yeah, listen. Again, he gave it a 7. Okay, I disagree, but again, does not make the man a monster, folks.
Not at all. Everybody and Paris is fair. He's not going to sit there and try to drag. So if anybody's like, oh, he's only saying that for this, it's like,
he's a pony. I know.
Come on, like, why would you even think that? He's been super positive for Xbox all this time. Why would he choose now to be like, let me switch up? I am going to keep a keen eye out, and I know everybody is, to see what scores these get on the PlayStation though. I won't lie. I am very.
It's certainly going to be interesting. Again, I would imagine that they're going to have a pro version available. I don't know if that's going to be better than the Xbox version. It might be. I don't necessarily think so, to be honest with you, because I actually took a picture of it on my TV, and again, I'm playing on console, folks. Right? It was running at 108 frames with VRR on. I have every bell and whistle for the TV. So when I was looking, I said, you know what? Let me go see. Let me check the FPS on it, and it was locked at 108 frames per second.
Do they give any options for FOV sliders and things like that? Do you get to change?
They have options, but they don't have an option for like performance versus graphics. They don't have that toggle. They have a bunch of things in there for HDR, for the lighting. They do have a pretty stout options, which, by the way, do me a favor, while I read out some of the other scores, we'll come back to you in a second. Check your DM, kind sir.
Okay. And for me, when I get off, I'm definitely going to be playing this on the PC. I can tell you that right now. So
yeah, well, you're definitely gonna be playing on the PC.
Oh, what's this here? Merry Christmas.
That is an Xbox Anywhere code, my friend, for the upgrade, so you can play on PC or console. So enjoy yourself.
Well, look at you, you kind sir. You
salute.
I appreciate it, my brother. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure to do it. So listen, let's look at both OpenCritic and Metacritic. Now, again, these are just scores. I'm generally incredibly surprised that it's this positive. I if you would have asked me, like Umbra, I would have been like, yeah, I know what's going to happen. This is going to rock like a 78. I really, that's what I thought. I was playing the game. I know what I'm playing. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely a 9 out of 10. But other people are like, nah, it's the fighting isn't great, and I don't understand the humor, and it's 1937, and Nazis. There could have been 1,000 things, but right now, based on 45 critic reviews, it is sitting at an 86 on Metacritic, and it's considered generally favorable. There are 41 positive reviews at 91%, and there are 3 mixed reviews. I believe that one of those are from Pure Xbox at a 60, which is it's fine. Let me just scroll down to the bottom and see if I can find who gave these. So moreporg.com gave it a 70. Noisy Pixel gave it a 70. Pure Xbox gave it a 60. They are still waiting on scores from The Verge, which is a little weird. They're usually pretty quick with it, but it is what it is. They're probably like me. They just want to play through the game before giving a score.
Yeah.
So let's look at OpenCritic. OpenCritic is another critical site. It is just like Metacritic. Some people like this better. It has 70 critic reviews. Its top critic average is 86. Critics recommend 91%, and it has the sticker on the left-hand corner of Mighty. The little guy that's going like this. It has gotten that badge of being a Mighty game for Xbox and of course PC. And some of the scores, again, it's 70 of them here. Some critics I know, some critics I don't. Games Radar, the guy that wrote, gave it a 5 out of 5. Hardcore Gamer gave it a 4 out of 5. Let's see some of the other ones that pop off. Hobbies Consoles, 87 out of 100. Shack News gave it a 9 out of 10. The Sixth Axis gave it 8 out of 10. VGC 5 out of 5. Let's see. The Daily Mirror gave it 4 out of 5. Gaming Nexus, which I've heard of, they're considered a top critic, 9 out of 10. GamePro 83 out of 100. I haven't seen GamePro in a minute, but
GamePro.
Yeah, that's dude. That used to be my jam back in the days. I love GamePro.
Yeah, I did too.
But listen,
ACG listed as a buy as well. I like his reviews as well because he doesn't really put numbers on it, but it's like
he'll let you know to buy it or stay away from or wait for sale. I like ACG a lot. What did Skill Up give it? Just out of curiosity, because I did not see his review, but I didn't look for it, so that's really on me.
I would imagine his is positive too. Him and ACG typically align,
okay.
But I trust ACG a lot too. I will agree.
Yeah, I like ACG. He's a good dude, and I like his site, and I like Skill Up too. Skill Up, again, I don't always agree with them, but I do like his work. There's no doubt about it. He's definitely a guy that I trust. But look, you know what? At the end of the day, folks, we had over 600 people here. I don't want to drag this out just to add minutes on the back end. Again, there's not a lot going on. We covered 2 topics. One, of course, is a massive truckload of grain of salt. Take it with it. And do with it what you please. I'm waiting on Ecstasies to give me any kind of BS statement, or he tells me it's BS, or he tells me that there is something here, because him I trust. And him I know personally. So I'm waiting on him to reach out. And if there is something here, we'll talk about it on Monday. If he gets back to me over the weekend, I'm like, hey, boom, this is what I heard. And I'm allowed to talk about it, then we'll have a conversation. There is a story that I'm writing right now, and it's regarding Sarah Bond. There is some talk about her basically throwing the gauntlet down about how Xbox Everywhere is not only going to make sense, but it's going to work. And I have that story. I'm writing that story. I do want to read a couple of articles regarding it. I love Sarah. I think she is exactly what Xbox needs. And because of her expertise coming from T-Mobile and doing for that company what she did, is why they looked to her and they hired her. And obviously making her the president of Xbox is a big deal. And listen, this is an Xbox. I know people don't understand it. Some people hated the commercial. I get it. But, you've heard people like Tom Warren. You've heard people like Paris Lilly specifically say, listen, it's going to make sense soon enough. When? Well, the Game Awards is around the corner. Maybe it makes sense then. I honestly don't know. But I do trust the sources. And I do really, really have faith in Sarah being the one to make this Xbox Everywhere thing an actual viable part of the Xbox business. So she has the expertise, and she's going to use it to her best advantage. But before we get to that, let me just read these last super chats, and then we will get everyone on out of here. And if we can get Fuzzy to finally put down Stalker 2, play some some Indiana Jones, and of course Infinite Umbra can definitely get down. Will Broke Boy Lewis drops not 1 but 2 $2 super chats. Will, thank you for being here, my brother, and thank you for the generosity. He says, weekend coming up, boom, better get back on to Call of Duty. I know, I got the itch. I'm tapping the vein. I'm like, Indiana Jones, Call of Duty. I want to play so many games. I got to get back to Call of Duty. I don't want to lose my edge. I've been whooping these young bucks' asses out there on these streets, and I don't want to lose my edge. Of course, thank you for the shout out about the black screen. Yeah, the video actually had ended, and I was on another screen, which is why I didn't see it, but thank you so much. Highlander 001, who's become a channel member, and once again drops a very generous $5 super chat. He goes on to say, Pony said it was Disney's choice to force Microsoft to put Indiana Jones on PlayStation 5, but do not think it will happen with Wolverine. Disney wants the money. So,
but that defeats what he just said. If one is saying they're going to do that for a Disney property, why would Disney not want the money the other way around?
That's exactly his point. I think that when you know what, I didn't even think about that. Like that could have literally started and stopped the conversation right there. Thank you, Highlander, for shaking this old man's brain, because that's really what it comes down to. It's odd to me that someone on PlayStation would be like, Boom, there's no way they're going to put Spider-Man or Wolverine on Xbox. They want exclusives.
Boom, is that one of our Hoove brothers' voices?
It's a mythical Hoove brother.
Boom.
That's how they sound. Trust me, I get the messages. So in my mind, that's how they sound. So
it's probably more like, actually, you're not getting an Xbox.
I mean, it could be that as well. Now I'm never going to unhear that. Thanks, Bumper.
Better get a pro.
You better get a pro, you bots.
They always say the bot real heavy. It makes me feel a way. Like, that T hits a little special for me.
Yeah, it's like just before it's going to end, it just gives you another clunk on the head.
Yeah, like bots. I'm like, hold on, that sounds racist when you say it like that.
Oh my goodness! But no, it's interesting how it could go one way and not the other. Like, there's no way Disney's going to force Sony to put a game on Xbox, but that Indiana Jones, don't you know? So Disney was like, we'll take our ball and go home. you Xbox. And, and that's, I don't know. But thanks so much for that, for the generosity, Highlander. Will Broke Boy Lewis drops not one, but two $5 super chat. So thank you again, Will, for the generosity. He says, credits to other in the chat. Boom. Breaking news that Tencent is in talks to buy Ubisoft.
Yeah, that's true.
What?
I said this long ago, by the way. I think
I said that yesterday, the other day, just in jest, like, Tencent, Ubisoft, they already have it. And wow.
Yeah,
that is going to be a conversation to be had. Obviously, I want to read more into it. I know it's breaking news. We will definitely cover it on Monday. I got to do this unboxing. I also want to play, I want to actually play games. I got to work out still. My schedule is loaded today. But thank you so much, Will. And thank you, everyone that put that in the chat. Obviously, I missed it because I'm on multiple screens. New Game Pass announcements. One is Eternal Strands. That's coming January 28th. Citizen Sleeper 2. Star Wars Vector and Commandos Origins in March. I mean, those are all big games. That again, we just keep eating, folks. We still have 25 days left of the year, and we're already talking January, February, and March for games. It's we're going to be doing good for sure. Our good friend all the way from Hawaii, Nino Vestek, drops gifts a double barrel gaming membership. So, folks, if you did get that from him, or you got the 1 of 10 from Eris AEMS earlier in the show, please thank them, because, again, they don't have to do that. And, again, if you get the channel membership and you want to continue to support the channel, Mrs. Boom and I would be greatly appreciative of that. But Fuzzy Belvedere, let's get you on out of here. Let's sell your brand, Fuzzy Belvedere, the best place for anything and everything in the racing genre on your YouTube channel. But tonight, I would imagine there's going to be a new episode of Fright Night with Ferocious Fee, which, of course, is the missus. And she has her own YouTube channel, which is horror fan-based. Tell everyone where they can subscribe to both and also follow you guys on social media.
Well, as always a pleasure doing this show with you, Boom. And it's always great when we have Infinite Umbra as a guest. Glad you could make it, man. Definitely enjoy Indiana Jones today. I'm going to try my best to hop in there as well. But man, this is going to be pretty busy weekend and rest of this year, finishing off the games that we get from Game Pass. And it's just so awesome to be a gamer right now, and just got to figure out a way to schedule sleep and, more gaming time, between now and then. But man, this was an awesome show. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Greatly appreciate you guys joining us. And for those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Also Blue Sky, Instagram, pretty much everything but Facebook. Just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere or Fuzzy_Belvedere, and you'll be able to find me. But if you're also into horror movies, don't forget, follow my wife, Ferocious Fee 78, and that's Fee FI 78. On both Blue Sky as well as on Twitter or X. Working on doing an Instagram here soon for some of the events that we visit. But we have a Fright Night with Ferocious Fee tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking about The Substance. A bit of a body horror kind of movie. Definitely going to be an interesting show. So check it out, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just do a search on YouTube for Fright Night with Ferocious Fee, or just follow us on social media, and I'll put the links in the chat later. You'll be able to see the link for the episode. And then you can also find me on Xbox Ultimate later on tonight, Shop Podcast tomorrow, and Pixelated Echoes on Sunday. Like I said, follow me on social media. Definitely be able to find out what podcasts I'm on. And look forward to seeing everybody for Xbox Lunch Break Special, 12 noon next Monday. Hope to see you guys there. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Shout out to East Coast Dan. Shout out to quite a few people here. I didn't get a chance to actually write to everybody. Whole Grain Bread, thanks for stopping by. Of course, Serve, we appreciate you being here. Brett Bingham, Abdel114, East Coast Dan, my brother from another. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, folks, if you want to jump, if you didn't upgrade to the Indiana Jones $35 upgrade, you don't have to go to Xbox. Go to cdkeys.com. I just paid $26.99 for the upgrade. It's currently, I think, 33% off. Go get it there. I got the code. They send you the code immediately, and you go. And if you've been waiting, let's say, for instance, you're like, yeah, I'm going to wait. Well, it's now cheaper. You don't have to buy it through Xbox. You can get it through cdkeys.com. It's $26.99, and you're going to save yourself $9, which is, great in 2024. Infinite Number, let's sell the brand, brother. I know that you didn't have the fix this week because you were sick, but you will be coming back next week with Danny, and I probably have a bunch of opinions and thoughts and theories into Indiana Jones. Tell everyone where they can check out the fix Thursday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and where they can not only subscribe, but follow you on social media.
Yes, sir. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you, Boom, for the gift. It's such a gracious Christmas gift. Thank you, brother.
My pleasure, sir.
I appreciate that. I'm going to make sure to whip some dogs in your honor.
Just don't shoot the dogs.
I'm like, Boom, sent me. That's the whip sound.
And anyway. You know what? It is prominent. The sound in this game is astoundingly good.
I'm about to find out. Trust me, I'm about to download this bad boy right after this. But anyway, yeah, man, thank you. I appreciate it, Fuzzy. Always a pleasure speaking with you, my fellow bald-headed brother. Always a pleasure. And chat, all love to you guys. Appreciate you all for holding us down and doing what you do. My voice has been ashy. That's the best way I can describe it. I can't sing the way I want. I can't hit notes the way I want. It's just ashy. So and I've been coughing up a storm, man. I don't know. I almost wondered if I had COVID, but I'm not sure. I didn't feel any other symptoms except a extreme sore throat and cough. So I don't think it was. But so because of that, I hadn't really had a chance to do anything, which is why I'm so bewildered about the Indiana thing, because I was like halfway like doing that and other things and didn't really get a chance to look into it. I haven't been gaming this whole week because of the code. So I am going to hope to correct that today, right now, with the Indiana Jones code you gave me. So I appreciate that. Definitely looking forward to seeing your unboxing for it too. I saw that posted on Twitter, so I'm going to check that out. As far as myself, you guys can find me, of course, as Boom already mentioned, on Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern for the fix. We'll meet myself and Daniel J. McGee, and of course Twitter, Blue Sky, Infinite Umber, or Umber Infinite. You will find me either way. Add a brother to Blue Sky if you haven't yet. And you all have a good day and good weekend too. Definitely we'll be talking about Indiana Jones, like Boom, like you pointed out, next week for sure. And of course we have the Game Awards to look forward to, so we'll see about that as well.
Yeah, the way the schedule is going to work, folks, I'm not covering the Game Awards. We're going to do a prediction show Wednesday evening. Thursday, C-Money and I are going to do, again, an additional predictions. Maybe we'll get some leakage, if you will, on what may be popping off that evening. Friday morning, we're going to have everyone back. Korkenstein, Silent Cypher, Fuzzy Belvedere. Obviously, the door will be open for you, Infinite, if you want to pop in. It is going to be our annual Game Awards post show. Monday and Tuesday, I'm working on those programs as we speak. I'll finish them off before the end of the weekend, and we'll have, and again, all next week. We have all great new shows. A big thank you to everyone that tuned in. A big thank you to all of the generosity that continues to come in, because it does really help, especially when you give away $2,000 in 2 hours, which what Mrs. Boom and I are doing on December 20th, 2024. It is our 7th annual Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. BoomStick. And that's right, you didn't hear a glitch. We are giving away $2,000 in 2 hours. That's right, 10 $100 prizes and 4 $250 grand prizes. And no, we are not rich. No, that is not coming from Microsoft. That is literally from the super chats and the channel memberships that we kind of tuck away all year, and we wait to the end of the year to drop this big banger of a show. And it's just our way of just paying it forward for all the generosity and all the good that has come our way in 2024. We want to kind of just try and push that on to the community, and we are going to do it. Again, $2,000 in 2 hours. It's the most we've ever given away in any one show, and we're honored and proud to be able to do that, and that's thanks to you fine folks. But with that said, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, folks. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you, and that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids, and he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated, and also it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom.